The tennis world has been shaken once again by the explosive words of Nick Kyrgios, who reignited the controversy surrounding Jannik Sinner's doping case from 2024. In a fiery segment of the Unscripted podcast hosted by Josh Mansour, the Australian star didn't hold back, accusing the ATP of protecting Sinner and even suggesting a cover-up within the organization. Obviously, they're protecting him to some extent, Kyrgios said. The CEO and all the important people in the ATP are Italian. If you connect the dots, it all fits perfectly. This whole story feels like a farce to me. The Australian, known for his outspoken and controversial opinions, doubled down on his stance, insisting that Sinner's positive test for clostebol during the Indian Wells 2024 tournament should have resulted in a far harsher punishment. The Italian served a 3-month suspension earlier that year, but returned in time for Roland Garros and went on to dominate the summer, winning Wimbledon and reaching world number 1 before being overtaken by Carlos Alcaraz. For Kyrgios, the timeline and the leniency don't make sense. He tested positive when he was number 1 in the world. That's a huge story. But what happened? He came back quickly, and everything was swept under the rug. If that were me, I'd be banned for 2 years. There's no consistency, and that's the problem. Still, even amidst his criticism, Kyrgios acknowledged Sinner's talent. I've played him. He hits one of the cleanest balls I've ever seen. He's special, man. I actually think he could have made it without any of this. If it was an accident, fine. But if it wasn't, bro, you didn't need that. The Canberra native went on to say that this situation disappointed him deeply because of what it represents for tennis. It hurt me because it was like someone got caught and walked away so easily. I thought, damn, maybe I should have done that. What if I had done that? Would I get away with it? I just hope he learns from this. Kyrgios's words have reopened a wound many thought had healed. The ATP and Sinner's team declined to respond immediately, but the issue continues to divide fans and analysts. Some support Kyrgios's call for transparency, while others accuse him of jealousy and sensationalism. Meanwhile, the Italian remains silent, focused on his recovery after suffering cramps and a tough withdrawal in Shanghai. His team continues preparations for the Six Kings Slam in Riyadh, an exhibition tournament featuring the world's elite. While the controversy between Nick Kyrgios and Jannik Sinner continues to dominate headlines, the tennis world now turns its attention to one of the most talked-about events of the year, the Six Kings Slam 2025, hosted once again in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This unique tournament has become the centerpiece of Saudi Arabia's global sports project, a lavish showcase featuring the 6 most elite players on the planet: Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic, Alexander Zverev, Taylor Fritz, and Stefanos Tsitsipas. The event runs from October 15th to 18th, just before the Paris Masters and ATP finals, creating both excitement and controversy over its timing and financial magnitude. Unlike the Masters 1000 or the Grand Slams, the Six Kings Slam is not an ATP-sanctioned event, meaning there are no ranking points to gain. But in exchange, players receive something that the official tour doesn't offer: record-breaking prize money. Each participant will receive a guaranteed €1.35 million just for taking part in the tournament, regardless of results. Reaching the semi-finals and final significantly increases the total, but the ultimate reward, €5.4 million for the winner, breaks every previous record in tennis. In total, the champion could walk away with almost €7 million after only 2 matches, a sum greater than what any Grand Slam pays in 2025. Saudi Arabia's bold approach to sports has been clear in recent years. From football's star-studded league to high-profile boxing and Formula One events, the kingdom now seeks to cement its presence in tennis. The Six Kings Slam serves as both a sporting spectacle and a political statement, proof that Riyadh can attract the best athletes, no matter where or when. What makes this edition even more attractive is its global broadcast on Netflix, marking one of the streaming giant's biggest live sports experiments. For the first time, tennis fans worldwide will experience a cinematic presentation of the matches, with behind-the-scenes access, exclusive interviews, and slow-motion replays capturing every emotional detail. For Carlos Alcaraz, the tournament represents more than just money. After missing Shanghai due to an ankle injury, he's eager to return to competition and reclaim the spotlight. Alcaraz will debut directly in the semifinals, facing the winner between Alexander Zverev and Taylor Fritz, both in solid form but physically drained from Asia's demanding conditions. Meanwhile, Novak Djokovic, the other semifinal seed, awaits the winner between Jannik Sinner and Stefanos Tsitsipas. For Sinner, who has faced both physical and mental struggles after his Shanghai withdrawal, this is a crucial chance to regain confidence and silence critics like Kyrgios, who continue to question his resilience and reputation. Despite being an exhibition, the stakes are immense. Players must manage fatigue, protect their bodies, and balance the financial incentive with preparation for the Paris Masters and ATP finals. Some analysts have even suggested that the Six Kings Slam could one day become an official ATP event, challenging the tour's traditional power structure. However, critics argue that the scheduling of such high-intensity events late in the season only increases injury risk. Several stars, including Djokovic, Zverev, and Fritz, arrive with minor issues: shoulder tension, back stiffness, and dehydration symptoms from the humid Asian swing. But for fans, the attraction is undeniable. A single weekend bringing together Alcaraz's explosiveness, Sinner's precision, Djokovic's mastery, and Zverev's power, under the dazzling lights of Riyadh, offers a show unlike any other. As the event approaches, the world's media prepares to capture every angle. The Six Kings Slam has become more than a tournament. It's a symbol of modern tennis, where competition, entertainment, and global business collide. "It's not just about the money," said a source close to Alcaraz's team. "It's about being part of something historic, the evolution of tennis into a global entertainment era." The Spanish prodigy, who already holds 8 titles this year, sees the Six Kings Slam as a launchpad toward his final goals of 2025, finishing as world number 1, winning his first ATP finals in Turin, and leading Spain to Davis Cup glory in Bologna. But the question remains: will the desert's golden arena favor experience or youth? Will the established giant Djokovic dominate again? Or will Alcaraz and Sinner, the sport's new kings, seize their moment under the Saudi sun? The Six Kings Slam is just hours away, but the noise around the courts isn't only about forehands and trophies. It's about a storm that refuses to die down. The center of it all? Jannik Sinner, and the man who reignited the controversy, Nick Kyrgios. During his latest appearance on the Unscripted podcast, Kyrgios unleashed another verbal missile toward the ATP and the Italian star, accusing the organization of a cover-up over Sinner's positive test from Indian Wells 2024. His claim was explosive. Obviously, they're protecting him to some extent. The CEO and all the important people in the ATP are Italian. Connect the dots, it all fits. The statement instantly went viral. Social media exploded, players were cornered for comments, and journalists at the Six Kings Slam could talk about little else. Kyrgios, known for his brutal honesty and disregard for diplomacy, wasn't simply provoking. He was calling out the institution itself, suggesting that the ATP had bent the rules to protect one of its brightest assets. Whether true or not, the allegations revived an uncomfortable memory for tennis. Sinner, who tested positive for clostebol, a banned anabolic agent, during last year's Indian Wells, had been temporarily suspended, but cleared weeks later when the investigation determined contamination through a prescribed ointment. The ATP later declared the case closed. For Kyrgios, that explanation wasn't enough. He's an incredible player, one of the best strikers of the ball I've ever faced. But if it was really clean, prove it. If it wasn't, he didn't need it. He was already good enough. The Australian's criticism, though sharp, reflects a wider tension within the sport. Tennis has long tried to protect its image as a sport of integrity and respect, but in an era of massive commercial influence, multi-million-euro sponsorships, and national interests, the line between governance and politics is blurred. Meanwhile, Sinner's team has opted for silence. His coach, Simone Vagnozzi, refused to comment, and his spokesperson described the situation as noise with no foundation. But the player's body language in Shanghai, his visible exhaustion, his collapse due to cramps, his early withdrawal, has only added more fuel to the narrative. The physical and mental toll. Behind the headlines, there's a reality few can deny. Sinner has been pushed to his limits this season. From his marathon 5-hour French Open final to the humidity of Asia, his calendar has been relentless. In Shanghai, he fell apart in the third set against Talon Griekspoor, barely managing to reach the bench. It wasn't just fatigue, it was an alarm. After the incident, Sinner hired Alejandro Resnikov, an Argentine physiotherapist with over a decade on the ATP Tour. It's a move that reflects his perfectionism and his determination to ensure that the physical collapse in China never happens again. But it also shows how much pressure he's under to keep pace with Carlos Alcaraz, whose recovery, strength, and endurance have been nearly flawless all year. The ATP under scrutiny. The controversy has placed the ATP under unprecedented scrutiny. Fans are questioning whether the organization enforces its rules equally for all players, or whether star protection policies are quietly shaping its decisions. A former ATP medical official, speaking anonymously, told Tennis Today, "The governing body has always tried to protect the sport's global image. When it comes to rising superstars, there's a commercial layer that complicates everything." The organization's silence since Kyrgios' outburst has only made matters worse. Officially, the ATP has not released a new statement, and both CEO Massimo Calvelli and Chairman Andrea Gaudenzi, both Italian, have declined interviews, fueling speculation about bias. A divided locker room. Within the players' circle, opinions are split. Some, like Taylor Fritz and Casper Ruud, reportedly believe the issue is exaggerated. Others, off-record, share Kyrgios' frustration, arguing that the system would have treated lesser-ranked players more harshly. One unnamed top 20 player allegedly told The Telegraph, "If it had been a qualifier who tested positive, he'd have been banned for 2 years. Everyone knows that." Meanwhile, Carlos Alcaraz, the other half of this modern rivalry, has maintained a diplomatic stance, refusing to comment on his rival's off-court troubles. His focus is entirely on the Six Kings Slam, where he hopes to claim both glory and history. The desert showdown awaits. Despite the controversies, Riyadh is ready for a spectacle. The city has transformed itself into a futuristic tennis arena. Giant LED walls, immersive sound, and desert lights illuminating the massive court. Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Sinner, 3 players at the top of world tennis, now converge under the same roof, each representing a different chapter of the sport's evolution. The tension between them isn't just competitive, it's generational, ideological, and even moral. Djokovic, the veteran champion still chasing immortality. Alcaraz, the smiling prodigy redefining what's possible at 22. And Sinner, the brilliant but embattled rival fighting to rebuild both his confidence and his credibility. The Six Kings Slam 2025 begins with millions watching worldwide and a Netflix camera tracking every emotion. The stakes go far beyond money. Pride, redemption, and legacy are all on the line. If Alcaraz wins, he will move one step closer to completing one of the most dominant seasons in modern tennis history. If Sinner triumphs, it will be a statement to the world that he can rise above scandal, pain, and criticism. And if Djokovic lifts the trophy, it will remind everyone that the old king still reigns, even in the era of new stars. One thing is certain: the desert will not forget what happens in Riyadh.